Vampire Nights. Drama, drama, drama. Basically a clone of Twilight. Even though the manga of it was made in 2005 and the anime of it came out 3 years later. Anyway, Vampire Nights is about a show, with vampires in it, but it is what you might call Twilight clone a little bit. How? Well, it's not. It's like Twilight, as in love triangle, but not the same. Let me explain. This show starts off as our leading girl, Yuki, as a little girl, wandering in the snow and walking. Then all of a sudden she's attacked by a vampire who's trying to kill her. Now, boom, another vampire saves her life. His name is Kaname Kuran. Later, as she grows up, she goes to this high school called Cross Academy, and she's not alone. And she knows where he is. But the Cross Academy has a secret. The daytime is hard with humans. They have class for human, but the night classes have vampires. Yes, right, I said vampires. As in this school is one of the only schools in the world that actually has vampires and humans going to class together. But not at the same time, because you have humans during the day, vampires at night. This story is very much dramatic, as it is crazy. Like for example, like Twilight, there's not much action, but it has a lot of drama to it. How? Let me show you the difference. No werewolves. There's a guy named Zero Kuryu. He's basically the Jacob. He's basically their Jacob, but no vampire, but no werewolves. Yuki is basically your Bella, and Kaname is your Edward. Because Kaname Kuran saved Yuki's life, like she owes him. Like she has strong feelings for him, and to be honest, honest people notice that. And so does Zero. He notices it too. But Zero has a strong hatred for vampires. You wanna know why? Because his family was killed by a vampire. Yes, his family was killed. Later he was adopted by the headmaster. He was taken in by the headmaster of Cross Academy. This way he could have a normal life. But how can he have a normal life knowing that he's in a school with vampires? This guy carries a gun with him just to make sure. Cause wanna know how? Both him and Yuki are the disciplinary committee. They're supposed to go to class during the day, but at night they watch for patrol to make sure nothing bad happens between the daytime and nighttime students. Because there are some vampires who break the rules, and so there's some human girls that break the rules. For example, I think the night classes are so hard, because they are vampires. On stories, vampires are always the prettiest people. That's what you get from this. A lot of drama, and this is all around a school. Mostly around a school, but there are some areas where they spread out, like around the county, but mostly around the school. The thing about this show is it's not the same as vampires. It's not the same as Twilight. It's not completely the same. No werewolves. No werewolves. They do have vampire hunters, and yes, I say vampire hunters. They are but when it comes to the show and action, it doesn't have most action. It's mostly drama. Then there's the vampires themselves. Most of these vampires are almost all these vampires are aristocrats, meaning they come from a strong bloodline vampire family that's been around for hundreds of years. And like in Twilight, they do develop some special powers. Some have ice power, them create fire, and then there's Kaname Kuran himself. He's what you may call the pure blood, which is virtually the strongest class of vampires. He's what you may call a Valtori in their world. He can, for example, he can bitch slap another vampire and they just take it. Hell, he bitch slapped the vampire just for disobeying the rules in the show. He's that strong and they just take it. He's that strong and he's just take it. The thing is about this show, it is mostly drama. Like Kaname Kuran is it's the king of vampires. Anything they say, he Anything he say, they listen. They just shut up and listen. If you say just sit down and go and do your job, that's how badass he is. That's how strong they are. However, there are some vampires in there that become violent and do get used and do stun damage. Let me tell you some of the secrets. You see, when like in Twilight, a vampire bites a human, they turn into a vampire. That's not all true. You see, in their world, vampire nights, a vampire that the only way for a human to become a vampire, they're bitten by pure blood, the same class level as Kaname. Not most vampires possess this ability. But however, because the vampire turning into a human can be painful, it could cause a lot of damage, and sometimes the vampire can go crazy and insane. He can go on a rampage and destroy everything with his bare hands. And for the record, Zero's family was killed by a pure blood. So yeah, you can imagine his hatred even more. His entire family was killed. The thing about this series is it's almost dramatic. It's mostly dramatic. Love triangle. It's mostly love triangle, and it all takes place in a school, or at least a few area. But the thing is, there are some vampires who want peace. For example, like I said, there are some vampires that go crazy. There are other most of what you call the aristocrat vampires don't want those vampires to go crazy. So if they want to, they can eliminate the vampires, because they don't want the world to know that they all exist, because that'll keep them a secret. But of course, there are the vampire hunters who will eliminate any vampire. It means getting their revenge. It means doing what they want because of their hatred. Because of that, there are some disagreements, because there are some who do not want to work with vampires, and they do not want vampires killing their own kind. He said, that's our job. You get to see in this series who's a vampire hunter and who's not. And that's what I want to talk about season 2. Season 2, Vampire Not Guilty. It's like it starts off as a continuation to season 1. But I've seen that it does go to a straight line continuing on, but then all of a sudden it just bends. Because Yuki was adopted by the headmaster of the academy. You see, it was Kaname who saved her, and it was Kaname who brought her to him. But he may look nice, and he takes his job seriously, but sometimes he acts like a clown. You get to see some funny moments. Anyway, season 2, it continues off. It goes in a straight line, but then it starts to bend and sting and go crooked off the path. Want to know how? I'm not going to tell you because that'll be spoilers. The thing about this series is, it's like Twilight. You have a girl who's caught. I'm sorry, you have to caught between a man who's immortal and a man who's not immortal. And there are some people who notice it. The thing about Kaname, out of all vampires, he is what you call the most serious I've seen on the show. He does take this seriously. I think hell, he ignores almost every other girl, and he likes Yuki. Even though there are some girls that would love to shower this guy with gifts, that they all want him, but he only wants Yuki. Hell, even a female vampire please sir, suck my blood, and the blood even gets on his face a little bit, but he still says no. Kaname doesn't want anyone else. He wants Yuki so freaking badly that he'll do anything. What? He even saved her life more than once. Like, trust me, this guy is, he's like fixated on her. And then there's Zero, who's his undoubted hatred for vampires. After all, vampires killed his family, and he was taken into the academy, even though knowing this. But he has a hatred for vampires. He hates Kaname too, but he knows that Yuki has strong feelings for Kaname. Anyway, this I have a video of Vampire Nights. But there are other vampire animes other than this. There's Trinity Blood, Hellsing, Hellsing Ultimate, which is basically Hellsing reformatted. Blood Plus, Blood Princess, and Vampire Hunter D, which is a vampire anime movie. Anyway, I'll post. Anybody wants to see it, I'll put the link. I put the link down in the description bar. Search for it, and it's called Anime Static. Search for it, highlight it, put it on your search engine, and remember, click the English dub list. Everything is all in category. They have alphabetical order category for this for everything. Anyway, this is Sellavin Adams. You can see this anytime on Anime Static. Hi, Mile, giving you my latest video. Comment or subscribe. Signing off.